Man, but you touched on something, Isaac, that's interesting. We're talking about these upperclassmen, and now we're kind of
we are the
upperclassmen,
which is scary.
Dang.
It's great. I love it.
When I was a freshman, I kind of became friends with some of the seniors, and that's not like, I'm not saying all this to like toot my own horn,
right,
or anything like that. But
so
it's
cool,
just,
dude.
I know, right? But it's like, those are just the people I associated myself with, because I went to high school with some people that were older, and they were friends with these guys, and
they were probably doing what you wanted to do. So
exactly. Yeah. And I kind of went to a high school that had a good amount of video production, so I kind of knew what I was doing coming into this a little bit.
That's dope.
Not to the extent that I did now.
Lucky.
MTSU was like the best thing that's like happened ever. But
I would
I could agree. Yeah,
it's pretty good school.
But I became friends with some of these guys, but I didn't really know their age or anything,
Mm-hmm.
and so they ended up graduating after my freshman year. So by sophomore year, all these guys, and they were a rock star class, they left. And they went on tours, and they're now shading for production trucks, and they're in in-house venues and working with T&DV or other truck production companies and stuff, doing big boy jobs. And I'm like, well, dang, I'm still in school. But because I became friends with those people, and same thing with you, I'm sure, and same thing with y'all, that because we're friends, like I said, I keep preaching this, friends hire friends. Yep. So I get a call, and they're like, hey, this Zach kid isn't that dumb. We can call him out for this shoot. And so that's how I get most of my work, is by those older guys who graduated 3 years before me, being like, hey, I need a camera op for this, or I need somebody to shade for this. Can you do
Which
this?
Also piggybacks on what you said earlier of just like getting out and just doing it. Like I would kind of guess what we all touched on is just like getting out, and then you get with those people that you share similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why like I first met Isaac through Dusty, because Dusty met him in class, and then we all chilled, and we were like, we all kind of do similar things, but not really, but like we can talk, like we can communicate, and that's really where it happens. And then I met you through just working together, just coming up, and like we showed up in the same spots basically. So
do you actually remember we actually met at a party my sophomore year?
I do. No, when we came into the TV studio, I was like, yo, I know this dude, he's lit.
Exactly. We were that was a rough night.
That was great. That's great.
Yeah, I've always told people like, hey man, how do you get work? I'm like, okay, the best place to get to work is to go to lunch.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I try to do this a lot, but I need to get better at it. But like, just take people to lunch.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like a senior, alumni, a person you hang out with, a professional you hang with, just like, hey dude, can I buy you lunch sometime and hang out?
Yeah,
like I've
pick their brain a little bit. They know why you want to hang out. They ain't dumb.
They know.
They're
gonna go, I got free lunch out of this. Like I'll sit and talk to the kid for an hour.
And if it works out, it works out.
And if you go prepared, like super talk to him and just be a cool dude.
Yeah.
Maybe, sometimes I'll go to lunch and not even talk about business if it can help it.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, how's your family? What do you do? How'd you just shoot the crap.
Yeah.
If they're interested in you, they'll show it. They'll go to lunch. They'll
tell you no if they don't. They'll tell you no.
Yeah,
and that's also how you learn on what they're looking for and what they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they have to reschedule 6 times, take that.
Oh, I got a question. So where are y'all getting job offers from? I've gotten job offers off like Facebook Messenger. Yep. I know a dude who got hired by the people who do the Super Bowl with their truck. He got hired off Twitter.
How?
He was like, hey, at Game Creek Video, I think it'd be cool to work with you guys. And they were like, you serious? And he was like, yeah. So now he's an engineering apprentice.
Well, I mean, think about it though. Like
that's how he got that.
This is like this phone that I'm holding in my hand right here is our new TV.
Yeah, everything's going to streaming.
TV's radio. It's gone.
Everything is streaming.
Like that's it's a free marketing platform.
Oh, that's crazy.
Every social media is a free marketing platform. They just used a little bit different.
Yep.
And that completely makes sense though, because like you can go weed through someone's Twitter and figure out what they're about.
Oh,
that's probably what happened to that dude. They went through and they were like, "Yo, he posts about film every day, like or whatever, you know."
And we're all social is attached to the other, so you're gonna find out.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to what I said earlier. It's like just giving 110% all the time, making people go.
And there's no reason to like have to get on Instagram and post some cool looking video, quote unquote, you just post videos of what you're doing or pictures or whatever, which is what everybody does. Exactly. But you got to be busting ass. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah.
Really
and
does.
Something that,
God, this is a great episode. This is great. I'm excited about this.
Another thing, because
this is a good back to school episode.
Speaking of which, where we're at, we are at my place. This episode is sponsored by Shaw Audio.
We're at the Shaw Audio headquarters.
Shaw Audio Workshop.
You were listening to Little Miss Big Fist.
Yes, sir. Sample deck that later.
It better sound good.
So anyways, so we have a lot of guys come in here that are pro players for Nashville. They're on tours, doing the whole thing. Chris Stapleton uses our stuff, Ricky Skaggs uses our stuff, et cetera, et cetera.
Go ahead.
Not too long horn, but we have some great guys coming in here.
That's awesome.
And I got to talk with one guy that was out, and he's like, dude, you know how you keep a gig and get a gig? I'm like, no. It's like, I figured you'd be really good and promote yourself, whatever. He's like, no, you'll get the gig and the audition. You'll keep the gig on the tour bus. And I was like, what? I kind of like thought it through. And he's like,
okay.
You got to be able to be a good hang with people, especially in the freelance world and the crew world.
Yep.
If you're a super hot, I've seen this before, and when I thought about it. So if you're a super hotshot guitar player, can do every lick, every style, whatever, but you're a butthole on the bus. If you're an a-hole, if you're not cool to hang with, if you don't want to go party or whatever, if you're just an introvert and just hate people, you're gonna be replaced. Even if there's someone that's not as good as you, but they're a great hang, they'll replace you with that. And I've seen it.
Man,
So be a good hang.
I've got a story for that.
Like we're like let's like not go without saying we're all weird as shit.
Oh yeah,
like, especially any creative media arts people. Like we all have our quirks.
100%.
But like you have to
be able to treat
quirks. Quirks. What am I looking for? Quirks. I said quirks.
Quirky you reminded me so much of Umberto when he's looking for the right English word right there.
Stop.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. Sorry.
I can't hear.
Gosh dang it! Me and words don't get along.
Treat
like
people right, because it'll come around. Because this is such a community network thing. You have to be able to treat people right.
I got to be careful with like how I put this.
Be nice.
So we I mean, you all know people that get hired for jobs, and it's kind of like, oh, how'd they get that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well, so somebody
you about to call someone out?
No. But somebody,
Bet you want to do it.
they got hired for a gig on something a friend of mine was engineering, and he was working on it, and we got lunch not soon after that, and I said, oh, how was so and so on the shoot? And he was like, man, he's working hard. He's doing his job, but he just doesn't talk. He doesn't say anything to anybody. He's like, it got on my nerves.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, it really annoyed me. I just really don't like working with it. And I was like,
yep. You have to enjoy it. That goes back to enjoying what you're doing.
But I've done that. I've been on a shoot before, and this is a shoot down in Memphis, and they flew. I was considered a local camera op, even though I drove down from Nashville. But they flew up 2 cam ops from Orlando, and so I'm kind of the odd one out.
Right.
But man, these guys were so vulgar. I didn't want to say anything.
Kind of intimidate you a little bit.
Yeah, they were disgusting, man. They were the most vulgar people I've ever worked with, and so I just didn't have anything to say. That is the most quiet I've ever been, and I was still really shy. So I don't think those guys are ever gonna ask to hire me for anything that they do or pass my name along, because I didn't represent myself.
You're right.
I wasn't out there, so
from what they know, that's how you are all the time.
Exactly. And so you gotta kind of put on your suit and tie every time you go out,
and you gotta ride the line of okay, for instance, Zach, I applaud your integrity there. You could easily just be gone into that vulgar area, but that you stuck to your guns a little bit.
Yeah, there's a fine. You're right. There's a fine line.
You can ride. You gotta kind of ride that line. You kind of gotta know yourself.
Know who you're working with.
Yourself. Yeah, because if you do stuff like that, especially in this industry, audio, video, you will be offered weed at some point in your life.
Yeah, or many other things.
Yeah, and you will get the chance to put people down and throw somebody else on the bus. So your
integrity will be tested.
Don't do it. Just
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not condoning that in any sort of way, but it will test your morals.
Yeah,
your values.
Absolutely.
Do your thing, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Be yourself.
Treat people your guns, but don't be a weirdo.
No, be a weirdo, but know how to work with people while being weird.
Know how to work a crowd.